Hey everybody, and welcome back to Shakor Or. We're out here with all the dogs again today. We just got back from Nine's chiropractic appointment about an hour or two ago. So we figured we'd just do a quick video, let you guys know kind of an update on him. Whoa, you guys! Okay, don't break them. Spray up somewhere else. All that nonsense. I ain't gonna talk over you barking. Obi, that's enough. Well, stop being a moron. Mona ran into Vice there, which Vice does not tolerate that, so he snapped at him a little bit. Because Mona does not have a sense of self-awareness. Quiet. So he tends to bulldoze into people and not care. Anyway, so we got back from Nine's chiropractic appointment. She did a full body adjustment on him. She found that his pelvis is rotated on the right side, meaning so the pelvis is supposed to, sit somewhat at an angle up, and his is rotated down. So she adjusted that. Hey, Bono, that's enough. She also found that he has some tenderness right up in here, which is, I don't remember what she called it, but it's where a muscle connects up to the hip. She said she normally sees that in a dog that has a tear of that muscle. Obi! They're crashing around the bushes over here. Doing dumbos. That's enough. You! That's enough. Obi. Quiet. Anyway, they're crashing around the bushes over here. They've been locked up since we left this morning, so they're all kind of pent up. Come on out! Thank you. Anyway, so there's that tenderness there in that muscle, which tears of that muscle, she said she usually only sees in agility dogs. Of course, she's not a vet, so she can't tell, if there might be a tear there or something else, but there's definitely tenderness. And he has stiffness on the left side along his spine in the sacral area, which she worked on a little bit, as well as a vertebrae, which I told you guys that I felt that is pushed in a little bit. Compared to the other ones, it is sitting more out now, and he's not as walking as roached as he was. He also seems a little less tender and wants to run around and play, but we have him on the leash because we don't know what's going on, and we don't want him to exasperate the issue. So she found that, and he also had some tenderness right behind his withers. When she was adjusting that area, he kind of showed some obvious discomfort there, and some stiffness in his front end, which I would assume is because he's overcompensating for the discomfort he's feeling back here, so he's walking heavier on the front. He's seeming to feel a little bit better now, but again, we don't know what the issue is, so he's still going to go in for x-rays to check out his hips and his pelvis and his spine to hopefully make sure that there's nothing there. No dysplasia, hip dysplasia, or anything wrong with his spine. But we won't know until those x-rays are done. We hope that it's nothing. What we're hoping is that he just threw himself out of whack playing with the other dogs, or maybe he fell in a hole at some point. And is really feeling the effects of that, but we'll have to wait and see. So hopefully we'll get good news when he gets the x-rays, but we won't know. I won't know until we get that done. I would say the worst possible thing that it could be is hip dysplasia or some sort of spinal deformity. I would rather it be muscle tear than something like that, because a muscle tear we can work with, but if he has hip dysplasia at his age and is already showing such discomfort, that would not be a good prognosis. Hibana, you don't need pears. Hibana. Out. Out. This is the pear tree. They like to come over here and eat the pears, which we don't have a problem with. But Bro made himself sick on the pears the other day because he was just sitting there eating them for quite a while. So yeah, we did that. We also stopped in Lowe's with, we took Paladin with us. So that he could get some experience being out and see how he does around that sort of environment. And Paladin did really, really well. He was just chill. He spooked at a couple things to be expected. He's never really been out before. He spooked at the sliding doors when he first saw them. And
he recovered.
Like one of the flat carts that was really noisy, but he recovered really quickly from that. It was just really watching everything, taking everything in. Otherwise he was pretty chill with all of it. 9 is more of a nervous dog, and he was really jumpy and kind of uncertain with everything, which again I expected, because 9 is more of a nervous type. He doesn't have confidence like what Paladin does. Getting a palmetto over here. Anyway, yeah, Paladin did really well. Him and 9 had an interaction with a husky that was there at Lowe's, and it was really interesting because Paladin was, he wasn't scared. He actually barked at the dog at first just because it was coming forward very strongly. Just a single, I guess you could say, like, I see you bark. Nothing crazy, just a single bark, and greeted the dog, and then he wanted nothing to do with it. He was just like, okay, you're here, whatever, you know. It's not, he wasn't avoiding the dog, but it was just a acknowledgement, and he didn't, the dog was trying to push him and 9 into playing with it, and Paladin didn't want to. He didn't, it wasn't that he was nervous or avoiding the dog, he just didn't want to play with the energy that it was putting out. Then the husky went to 9, because 9 is more nervous, and it started kind of trying to push into him and get him to play with it. But 9 was nervous. He kind of wanted a comfort buddy. Actually kind of seemed like he was upset when we took him away from the dog, because he was real nervous about the situation. But we decided to break contact with the husky because it started getting upset at Paladin because of Paladin's confidence. It didn't like that, and it started trying to move over him and dominate him because he wasn't bending to what it wanted. So we disengaged from that situation. That's why it's important to always be aware. Let's see what happens here. Yokai's trying to come in to take the wood block from Paladin. Anyway, being aware of body language and really watching them to see what they're displaying and to know the breed. Yes, Huskies, as a general, they tend to target dogs that are confident because they themselves as a breed are usually very confident. And they tend to target confident or weak dogs. Which would be why it started getting dominant over Paladin because of that confidence that he has. What you doing, Mr. Wiggles? Hey, baby. So yeah, we went to Lowe's and walked around. Cammie wants me to explain a little bit more into the way Collie's energy is, or at least in our experience. Now, not all Collies are like this. Braille, for example, is kind of dumb, if you will. He's just bumbly and likes to run up to everybody and jump on you and be silly and kind of annoying. Whereas the rest of our Collies are, yeah, and except for Mono. Mono will jump on people and harass you to no end. But the rest of our Collies, they like to be properly greeted. They're not the type that typically will treats from a stranger. They're not usually going to be all over you. They like to meet you first and see who you are and then decide on their own whether they want you to pet them or interact with them. Not that they are aggressive or anything like that. It's just it's like a natural indifference. It's an aloofness that the breed is supposed to have.
They want you to show respect first.
Yes, they want you to show respect first before they decide to engage with you, which we like as a trait because we don't like hugely friendly dogs that's just going to run up to every little stranger that they see. Hey, buddy. But not nervous, which the breed has a tendency for nervousness, which we're trying to breed out of our own dogs, but it takes time. There's no perfect dog. 9, for example, is nervous. We don't like the nervousness, but it doesn't mean that you couldn't pair him with a good solid female and get solid puppies. Kazahana is a little bit more on the nervous side when it comes to being out and around people, whereas Starlight, who he's supposed to be bred to when she comes into heat, is more solid. She's not as shaky. But otherwise, they did good. They met a few people in Lowe's. And then we went to a restaurant with our sister and her husband. Spent some time with them. They had an outdoor patio area where they let us bring the 2 dogs. And 9 and Paladin just laid under the table the whole time, chilling while we had lunch. And then we made our way home. Hey, buddy. 9's had a long day. Long, a little bit stressful. The lady that did the chiropractic work, she had 3 kids. She had a 6-month-old baby, and then I don't know the ages of her other kids, but they were kind of a bit loud and didn't really know how to properly interact with dogs. They're the type to just kind of run up and throw themselves at Paladin and 9 and they were like stomping their feet intentionally, you know, trying to get a reaction, the kind of stuff that kids like to do. And Paladin was kind of wigged out at first, but then he chilled out pretty soon afterwards. 9 was nervous. He didn't know how to feel about it. He wanted to investigate them, but because of their behaviors, he kept getting scared. But this is also why parents, you should teach your kids how to properly interact with dogs. Teach them not to just run up to them and get in their face and just, be all over them. And a lot of kids will try to intentionally scare dogs. That's not a good behavior. It can be very dangerous. Teach them how to properly interact. Teach them how to greet a dog. And if the dog doesn't want to be petted, then okay, that's enough. Don't continue harassing them. Hey, Bonna. She says, that's my stick. You lost your bark chunk, Paladin. Yokai has it now. Yes, our yard is very overgrown. It's what we call the youngle. But I don't know about y'all, but I am not going to cut all that with a push mower. So you would just deal with overgrown yard.
The dogs like it.
Yeah, the dogs like it, although it's very easy to lose them in it. Y'all probably can't tell, but the thickest part of these seed stalks, I mean, I'm only 5'2", and these seed stalks are at least probably 3 foot. Some of them are almost 4 foot tall, and that's the whole yard except for right around the house, which is a little shorter, but the whole yard is that way. There's the posts for the puppy pen, which we have not gotten done, and fencing for it. Yeah, I just wanted to give y'all an update on 9. He's going in for his x-rays on the 5th. So hopefully we'll have good news, but I have reserves there until we find out. A little bit nervous about that because he's a really good dog. Aside from his nervousness, he's one of our other easiest going, just laid back dogs. Very similar to Love Me, he just has a little more nervousness.
Yeah.
But anyway, next video will probably be of Sassy's puppies because they're moving around. The battery's dying, so I'm going to go ahead and clock out, and we will talk to y'all soon in another video. So, bye-bye for now.